Mighty Radio.
Hello and welcome to this brand new edition of 5-Round MMA. My name is Alex Ramirez. Alongside me, my co-host Albert Cita and the ever mournful Guillermo Cita. He's a little mournful because his Clippers, his dear sweet Clippers, got what? Gentleman sweep, or was it 4 games to 2?
4 games to 2.
4 games to 2.
Gentleman sweep.
The loss of Blake Griffin, the loss of CP3, broken hand.
Yeah, I mean, you got to add more injuries to that. What's his name? JJ Redick had a bruised heel that he couldn't even run. DeAndre Jordan rolled his ankle in the game. Austin Rivers requiring 11 stitches, can't even see out of one eye. So, I mean, I'll take the loss.
I'll take the loss now. What, Golden State all
There's nothing else he can do.
Also, before we move on to MMA, Lakers have a new head coach. Luke Walton, the future has arrived.
The only person that would take that coaching job.
No.
I heard David Blatt was very interested.
Yeah.
Former Cleveland Cavaliers coach David Blatt was very
I told Guillermo, I think it was a
Look
good.
what happened to
Derek Fisher, D. Fisher was very interested as well.
I told Guillermo it was a good week for LA. The LA Rams picked up a wonderful quarterback. I think it's a good way to start off the LA Rams. The Lakers got a new head coach and the Clippers lost. So it was a good week. It was a good week for LA.
I think the Kings got knocked out of the playoffs as well.
I'm winning this for Kershaw today, baby.
And the Ducks got knocked off as well.
LA sports fan, nothing else in the world matters, right? So let's switch over to MMA now. Round number 1, get it started for me. The clock, please.
I'm running.
Get the introductions are out of set. Bruce Buffer's out of the octagon. The referee's been announced. Let's get round number 1 started. Guillermo, ready?
Yeah.
All right, so round number 1, UFC 200 was added a light heavyweight bout between Jon Jones and DC will be the new main event after all the Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz shenanigans going around. So with Jon Jones versus DC's feud added to UFC 200, are you now hyped for UFC 200 or you still missing Conor McGregor?
They still need Conor McGregor. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they're DC and Jon Jones. Yeah, I want to see the fight, but they're not as charismatic as Conor McGregor. And then you had Nate Diaz, who's kind of. It just felt like if you watched wrestling, if the Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor fight felt like Stone Cold versus Vince McMahon.
So a non-title fight between the two fighters who don't really belong in that division, that weight class, is more hype than a feud that's been going on for a few years now, and for one of probably the most prestigious title in the UFC, right? Because I think the light heavyweight division championship is probably the most prestigious title in the UFC because all the superstars carried that belt one time. So Conor McGregor is bigger than that title.
Yes,
that fight. Well, okay.
I think so. And,
wow. Okay.
And the interest of fans as well.
Okay.
You have to put it this way, Alex. Is this a good SummerSlam card? Yes. This is how SummerSlam should be done. But guess what? This isn't SummerSlam. This is their WrestleMania. And if you compare it to UFC 100, it falls short. It really does. You need to have the stackness of a 200. You get me? Yeah, you could start off that way. I mean, if you start by saying DC versus Jon Jones, you got my interest. Yeah. But you got to take me to that next level where we're at WrestleMania now. Yeah. This isn't SummerSlam, not some average card. This isn't May, June, July. No, it's UFC 200.
Well, what made UFC 100 was that the fights were every single fight was great.
Exactly.
From top to bottom. Now, UFC 200 has great names that can bring it. The issue is some of these matchups don't, to me, they wouldn't main event any other event.
Well, a pay-per-view or like a live. I mean, even Velasquez versus Bryan went main event a fight night.
Yes. But other than that,
Tate versus Noon.
Oh, okay. The main card.
Aldo versus Gregor.
The main card would, but then after that, it kind of tailors off.
So
let's go back. Let's go way back to UFC 100, right? Let me just start by getting you excited, right? We start off with just a drizzle in there. Dan Henderson versus Michael Bisping. You remember how hot that beef was?
Well, that came out the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, and that came out to so that's great, and that's your teaser. That's the real you in, right?
Yeah.
And then I tell you, we got GSP and Thiago Alves. Remember, Thiago Alves was on a tear, right, against GSP. So we potentially had one of the best stand-up guys going against the all-time GSP, and then. This is where you kick it up. Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir
for the heavyweight
belt, where we previously saw Frank Mir beat Brock Lesnar and show that he was inexperienced, but now we're seeing Brock Lesnar saying, "No, I'm gonna dominate you." The whole that to me is the UFC 100 card. At the time, they couldn't put on a better show than these fighters.
But potentially UFC 200 has 3 title fights on this card. Are you guys still not excited? Conor McGregor is still bigger than 3 title fights.
It's funny he left out John Fitch from.
It's a sore. It's a sore thing. John Fitch was on a roll though.
The light heavyweight title the biggest stars in the organization have held that to Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, Randy Couture, obviously, Jon Jones, the Forrest Griffin. This is the part I said the most prestigious title in the history, and it's still people still want Conor McGregor.
Yeah, and it's funny because the prestige is there. I agree with you 100%, and I agree that these are legit fighters we're seeing here. But at the same time, you got to put in the full best roster. On real though,
okay. So then
I would even if they were to throw in the Robbie Lawler fight in here, I think that would have been enough. But that's because it's a
4 title bouts.
Yeah, but 4 title bouts equals 1 Conor McGregor fight. So you could have substituted. I'm telling you,
my mind is like just trying to grab that statement right there. 4 title bouts equals 1 Conor McGregor bout right now. Are you guys serious?
Well, no,
the beef. That's what it really comes down to. We talked about Dan Henderson versus Michael Bisping.
Yeah,
we don't have that anywhere here. Jose Aldo versus Frankie Edgar. Where's the beef?
Respect type of thing, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh hey, handshake, how's it going? The real beef is just Daniel Cormier versus Jon Jones, but Jon Jones won't fully turn heel on us.
Yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong. The players are there, right? Let's take Conor McGregor out of this. The players are there. I mean, as a fight fan, you got Gregor Mousasi, Derek Brunson, Sage Northcutt. You got Kat Zagana, Julia Pena, Johnny Hendricks is in the car. Kevin Gastelum, who was a fan for Ken Velasquez for crying out loud, is in the car. You know, the Diego Sanchez. The players are there. It's just you need that cherry on top, man. Does this look like a good tres leches cake? Yes, it is. But I don't see my toppings, bro. I ain't seen
it. Dude, when you have
sprinkles, is that what you
exactly.
Want? When you have Cain Velasquez and Travis Browning sitting for an interview at the Living Spaces, I don't know if you guys saw the green room, just sharing the couch, that just tells you that the beef isn't there, the excitement's not there.
No, see, I think everyone's getting wrong. The beef is there. The finish isn't there, you know. I can't serve this in a French restaurant. It doesn't. The platter doesn't look good.
Garnish,
but I tell you what, it tastes good though.
Well, that's it for round number 1. We have more Conor McGregor talk coming up in this show. We'll take a quick little break and start round number 2. Let's talk about we missed it last week, but Benson Henderson made his Bellator debut, so I don't think he really went exactly how he's planned. So we'll dive into that. So stick around, everybody. All right, welcome back. Time for round number 2. This event happened last week, but there's so much talk about Conor McGregor that we mentioned it, but we didn't really get too deep into it. But that was former UFC lightweight champion Benson "Smooth" Henderson made his Bellator debut on April 22nd. Bellator 153. He signed a free agent contract with Bellator. We're gonna give you a welterweight title shot. I just thought it was kind of weird because you got Michael Chandler, Michael Page. Will Brooks is in the lightweight division, but Smooth will give you a shot at 170, and it did not go exactly as planned for Benson Henderson, right, Albert?
No,
he lost a unanimous decision.
Yeah. But
the current champion, Audrey Kurzov.
And again, I think just like his previous bouts, Benson Henderson shows why he has a heart of a champion. That guy's you can't give any more respect to a guy like Benson Henderson. There's literally no quit, any inch of quit in his bone. I mean, he got hit with some hard shots that not only would it knock a lot of people out, doesn't matter what division you're talking about, but it will quickly make you want to say, you know what? I got myself in something I shouldn't have even been messing around with, because it was ridiculous how much beating he was able to take, and kept looking for that win into the last 5th round. And I mean, Benson, I'm telling you, it just blew me away. The willpower that guy has. I mean, if anybody had a fraction willpower the way Benson Henderson, you could go far in life. But with that said, though, I don't want to take anything away from their current champion, Andre Korjov.
We're gonna butcher it anyways.
Yeah, we're gonna butcher it anyways. He's an amazing fighter. I really think he can beat a lot of that 170 people in the UFC right now. The guy is good. He's legit. That was a good fight. The only person to beat him is Ben Askren, and it's because Ben Askren's a beast. He's a beast in his own right, and he's probably one of the best, if not the best, wrestler pound for pound right now in MMA.
So I mean, obviously the big news when he signed with Bellator, Benson Henderson, was that this is a free agency. Finally get a choice. Is it a good thing or a bad thing they lost? Does it look bad for free agents?
It sends a message, because to me it feels like Bellator is more of a fighter league. Yeah. Compared to the UFC being more of a management, Dana White league, promotional way. So at the same time, that could be bad for fighters, because if they give them more freedom to do whatever they like, whether it's pursuing 170 and then say, hey, Benson Henderson, you want to fight at welterweight, here you go. I'm going to give you the title shot right away. Yeah. And think about it in the UFC. They gave him Brandon Thatcher. Yeah. Instead of going, hey, we're going to throw you to the wolves because that's what you want. You prove you have the track record.
Let's protect you a little bit here. Let's get you like a warm-up fight at 170.
Correct. And we could have seen that, is he able to compete instead of just throw him right away to the championship fight? I mean, like you talked about, that 155 at Bellator is not that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, he had potential matchups that could have actually been just as big as card.
As pay-per-view. Like, I'm pretty sure Chandler versus Benson Henderson could have been a pay-per-view. Yeah.
Easily. And so that's the dangerous part, though, about, signing with Bellator is that, the fighters do have a lot more say, but sometimes you need that person just to say sometimes.
Let's hold it back a little bit.
Let's hold it back a little bit. Let's see what we have. Let's see if you can compete at that weight class.
Yeah, it seems like UFC is always good at the long play type of things, or Bellator's like, let's do it now. Let's do it now. Let's do it now. Let's do it now. They're for the short game. But I mean,
I want to bring up 3 big points here, right? And they're all for positives for Bellator. Because one,
it looks good that their champion defeated Benson Harrison.
One key thing here, what people are missing is they're not scared to pull the trigger like Dana White. Oh, I don't know, maybe we'll do that match. No, the matchup's going to happen. It doesn't matter how freak of the match it sounds, how dumb, whatever. These are the fights that fighters want, fans want. So why not? Sure, let's do it. Let's see what happens. And they're not scared to give Benson Harrison a couple of losses. Even Scott, if he still wants to stay 170, we can find another bout for him at 170. But what he's trying to say is, I'm putting on fights that people want to see, and I'm not scared to pull the trigger. Another thing, this reminds me a lot of, like, yes, UFC is the WWE, but Bellator is Ring of Honor. If you want to see some matchups, go watch Bellator. If you want exactly, yeah. If you want to see some structure, stuff that makes sense, something that has a little bit more bite to it, obviously UFC has the structure down perfect. But if you want to see some fights, you go watch Bellator. Regardless if it's a freak show or not, it's a fight.
But now the issue with Bellator is that you had this big star, this big free agent in Benson Henderson, and now it's like
he's
0-1. Now it's
he's 0-1.
And you're saying that, but see that was my last point I wanted to make. I think this was a win-win situation.
How's it a win-win?
Benson Harrison.
It's a whole or a loss to Benson Henderson.
No. He's 0-1. Talking about going to the military now. So,
but Benson Henderson looked like a beast out there, right? And I don't think he lost anything from the fans, whatever. Yeah, credibility, whatever. He looked like a beast, and you just made yourself a new superstar. I think Andre is a better fighter, a more recognized fighter, thanks to Benson Henderson.
Yeah, but you're paying Benson Henderson so much more money.
Hey, but he put somebody over. That's what you pay for. You pay for future stars, not for current ones, bro.
So next fight, welterweight or lightweight?
Lightweight.
Guillermo.
Lightweight
too.
Should be.
Yeah, that's it for round number 3. So let's see what the future holds for Benson Smooth Henderson. We're going to take a quick little break, and we're going to talk about if there's an emerging contender in the heavyweight division, which in the UFC. So Guillermo should be excited about that one. So stick around. Time for round number 3. It was announced this week that I still don't feel comfortable saying his nickname, but the Black Beast, Derek Lewis.
Hey, that's what he wants to be called.
I know, but still.
That's what I'm calling him.
I was going to take on Big Country Roy Nelson, UFC Fight Night 90. Probably about that's going to be promised some knockouts, right, Guillermo?
You know what? We don't know.
You don't know.
Well, Roy Nelson, when has he been knocked out? Like, truly a KO. He's been TKO. He's been stopped, right? TKO? I don't have the record up in front of me. But Roy Nelson's known to have a chin, so we can't be promised a knockout right away. But if Derek Lewis can do this is a great stepping stone for him. It will propel him into the lower level of the top 10. You're talking about 10, 11, 12 area of fighters that can propel him into the title picture. And all it takes, honestly, in the heavyweight division is maybe 3 or 4 wins against legitimate guys, and you're already in title contention.
Yeah, so Derek Lewis is coming off a pretty big KO win over Gabriel Gonzaga, UFC Fight Night 86, back in April, early this month. So far, he has 3 knockouts in the UFC, back-to-back. That's after coming off a knockout loss to Sean Jordan. He's 15-4 overall. Is he on the verge of being a legit threat in the division, or is he just a knockout attraction like Mark Hunt? Like, hey, Derek Lewis on this Fight Night card, we're promising you a knockout, or can he get to that pay-per-view level caliber and fight a Cain Velasquez, fight a Overeem, fight a JDS, or is he just, hey, Derek Lewis on the card, watch for a knockout?
At the moment, he's only shown glimpse of a Mark Hunt. Mm-hmm. We got to see when he faces these higher level heavyweights, if there's a game plan set in place, and he might not get the knockout every single time, but can he follow that game plan and still become victorious? That's what we want to see. That's going to differentiate himself from a Mark Hunt example. Yeah. But remember, Mark Hunt is a top contender in the heavyweight division. All you need is knockout power in the heavyweight division.
Well, if Derek Lewis, he has 15 wins, 14 over KO. 14 over KO.
It's not a bad comparison.
Yeah.
So don't.
But can he be there? Can he get to that level of like, okay, he's 1 or 2 wins away from a title shot, or is he just like, yeah, we'll put him against Stephen Struve, we'll put him against Roy Nelson because people want to see a knockout.
But that's the test, and that's why I like this fight with Roy Nelson. I think it's a great test for him to see if he's able to be the next Mark Hunt or Mark Hunt type fighter.
Yeah, Albert, thoughts?
He's a very special fighter, and thus should he be treated like a special fighter. But I do think he's eventually going to get to that top tier. But I don't think he's going to fight like the Overeems or whatever. I think he's actually going to do like a legit matchup where it's going to be someone like JDS, where he matches up and then you see where the weaknesses are or not. But I think for the time being, I'm pretty sure for the next 3 bouts, you're going to get someone like, for example, the Roy Nelson fight, maybe a Stephen Struve, maybe even Orlovsky. Even though Orlovsky has a name, whatever, it will be more because of the knockout. It'll be more like you said, come watch a knockout rather than come watch and see who's going to be a first contender.
And I was just looking at his Wikipedia page of Roy Nelson. His last KO loss to Roy Nelson was to Mark Hunt. So that just if we're comparing Derek Lewis to Mark Hunt, those are good signs for Derek Lewis coming into this fight.
But I will tell you this though, I think all this should lead up to some kind of super match between him and Mark Hunt.
The roads will end with Mark Hunt versus Derek Lewis.
I don't. Again, it's one of those things. Just like I said before, it's like I want to see it, but please let me see them fight at least 1, maybe 2 more times.
Yeah.
And then give me that big, clash in Japan
clash
too. Japan will eat this up.
Well, as of right now, Lewis is currently ranked number 13 in the UFC official rankings. He has Bigfoot Silva, who I think is going to fight pretty soon, ahead of him. Frank Mir is number 11, but he's going to be pretty much, I think, knocked out. Roy Nelson is number 10, so a win over Roy Nelson can top him to the top 10, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, he has Josh Barnett, Mark Hunt, Brownie, Rothwell. I mean, even Mark Rothwell.
There's a few guys there that I wouldn't mind seeing a matchup. Even a Josh Barnett matchup will be interesting.
Yeah.
You know what's great also? When's the last time we talked about a heavyweight making this type of run? The last person I remember is a Stipe Miocic type of person.
Yeah, but he did it differently. He's doing it differently.
Correct. But that's the last time we saw a rise. I mean, before that, I want to say Stephen Struve. Everybody else has been there for quite a while. So it's hard for us to see this heavyweight come out of nowhere. Kind of. That's what kind of Derek Lewis came about. Is that we didn't know who he was, and he's having this rise. And he's young enough to where he can compete for a very long time.
Yeah, he's 31 right now, so he's right now.
And I just look at Roy Nelson; he's 39. So if he stays in the heavyweight division, he's about 8 years left.
Yeah.
That's a long time. So I think this is possibly a star in the making for the UFC, someone they can sell in that heavyweight division. So that's a positive thing.
And he does himself all the favor in the world by doing the antics, whatever. I know that Dana White's been criticized fighters before about stuff like that, but he does it. I think those stuff is sell, and that's what makes you start. That's the whole reason even people are really talking about
not camera shot.
His best selling point is the knockout power.
Yeah, and the nickname, the Black Beast.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll grow on me. All right, we'll take a quick little break here, intermission. Then we'll enter the championship rounds. We'll talk about some Conor McGregor and look up UFC Fight Night, Arlovsky versus Overeem somewhere in Europe somewhere. So we'll stick around, guys.
Somewhere in Europe.
Somewhere in Europe. I don't know. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. Time to enter the championship rounds. Round number 4, UFC Fight Night 87. Overeem versus Arlovsky taking place in the Netherlands, the home country of one Alistair Overeem. Also on this card is be Stephen Struve versus Antonio Silva and Gunnar Nelson versus Albert Tuminov. So
butcher it.
I feel Overeem has a home everywhere in the world.
Everywhere in the world.
I think the Reem. The Reem is a home.
He's a nomad.
Come on, Miami, that's his home.
California, Los Angeles?
That's his home, bro.
Las Vegas,
mm-hmm. He owns a town.
Mexico?
Reem just has that aura with him, you know.
The Mad Max of fighting. So, main event, Overeem versus Arlovsky. I think of the two, Overeem is probably the one on the biggest winning streak, right? Or I mean, like, the more momentum going into the fight.
Yeah,
just with that.
Arlovsky had it, but he just recently lost.
But with that JDS win, I mean, he literally, I mean, you can erase everything. Yeah, right, but even the Ben Rothwell loss, the Travis Brownie loss, even though how horrible of a loss those two were, especially the way he lost.
Yeah.
It gets super erased because you beat JDS. and only not even a handful of people can say that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Arlovski's coming off the TKO loss to Stipe Miocic.
Keep it going. There's a big list.
No, I mean that's it. I think
no. Arlovski.
You're saying Arlovski? Yeah.
And then now, I mean, Overeem's 3 wins in a row. KO over Struve, decision win over Roy Nelson, and then the big TKO over JDS, who's actually hurt now too. I think he has shoulder surgery out for a while. So this could be. I mean,
honestly, Overeem has everything to lose here. Everything to lose
and
here.
everything to gain.
Yeah, if he beat, it doesn't matter if it goes to decision. If he just beats Arlovski, he's next in shot for a title, and he can even leap over Cain Velasquez. Let's say Cain Velasquez. Let's say Cain Velasquez.
He should.
No, he shouldn't.
Why not?
Well, before we get to finish my point, guys. Before you guys go at it, is that even if Cain Velasquez has a good performance in UFC 200, I think Overeem, as long as he gets a win, he's the front runner of the winner of Verdum and Miocic.
Okay, so if Overeem wins, and let's say Cain Velasquez wins, defeats Travis Browning, and between those two, it should, without a doubt, hands down, be for
also
Overeem to fight it. Because you know why? Because he beat him back in the Strikeforce. And then last time I saw Velasquez versus Verdum, I saw him get choked out. So henceforth, Overeem no more contender. If
Travis Browning beat Overeem, so you can just throw. You can do this.
Doesn't matter. The champion. He beat the champion.
That JDS win.
You can do this hypothetical, like I beat this person, you beat this person. I think it's baloney.
Cain Velasquez lost to Verdum.
It really comes down to how Cain Velasquez beats Travis Browning. If it's devastating fashion, Cain Velasquez has to avenge his title loss
eventually.
And I'm with you, Garen, but it's the risk factor. We're talking about the championship belt here. The risk factor is like, okay, let's set up the rematch then. Let's say, hypothetical again. If Verdum wins, Cain Velasquez wins dominant fashion, they set that up. Are you really willing to roll the dice? Why don't we get 2 fights under Cain Velasquez's belt, and then we roll that dice?
They roll the dice, and when Velasquez loses, then he's done. Fight night for life, bro.
That's true.
Let's keep it real. A fight between Alistar Overeem and Cain Velasquez will sell a lot better than a fight between Cain Velasquez and Verdum,
and we can
Alistar and Verdum.
And we can still get,
but then
the problem with the UFC has right now is that Verdum's champion. That's the real problem. But the positive thing is that it's enticing Fedor Emelianenko to come to the UFC just for Verdum. That's the only positive. But honestly,
one and done, bro.
It's actually not the best thing in the world for the UFC to have Verdum as champion. He's not marketable. If we're talking about marketability, he's not as marketable as an Alistar Overeem or as a Cain Velasquez.
He makes those goofy faces all the time. Those are pretty
funny.
No, they're not.
But tell me,
they're annoying.
Tell me, if Overeem was your champion, he would be a big superstar.
Can you imagine the photo shoots this guy can have walking alligators and stuff like that?
Yeah, that was a plan before he got busted for PEDs and knocked up everybody.
So I mean that the marketability is there for Alistar Overeem. It is.
Yeah.
It really comes down to how Alistar Overeem has been known to choke. He did.
Yeah.
So let's not already discount Arlovski out of this.
No.
Arlovski's gonna get a title shot pretty soon.
Because remember, Bigfoot for the longest every set, it was so lopsided. What did Bigfoot do to Overeem?
Yeah. Look at the bouts where Overeem did lose, where it was like how going in, he was the favorite and he was controlling matchup. So you said a perfect one, Bigfoot Silva. He had that match in the bag. Gets knocked out.
Even
Travis Browning, he had that match in back. He gets knocked out. Ben Rothwell, it was kind of and then he gets knocked out. So yeah, you're right.
So let's not give him too much credit yet, because Arlovski's is very dangerous. We didn't even get to Gunnar Nelson, but Gunnar Nelson will be on the card, and the only reason I wanted to bring it up is because Conor McGregor might be there.
Oh, there you go.
Supporting his boy.
Before round ends, Struve versus Silva. Loser leave town?
Yep, that's the way I see it. Loser goes to Bellator.
All right, that's it for round number 4. We're going to talk about Conor McGregor versus the UFC on our 5th and final round, so that should be fun. So stick around, everybody. Welcome back to the 5th and final round. It would not be an MMA talk show / podcast if we did not mention the notorious one, Conor McGregor. So let's get the latest on the Conor McGregor versus the UFC. So he's off.
And props to Conor McGregor. He made our 5th round 3-4 weeks in a row.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big accomplishment. So
huge compliment.
Now we know he's not officially retired, but he's not going to fight at UFC 200. He doesn't want to do the promotion, but Dana White is not mad at him. And latest reports saying Dana White said, well, he could fight as soon as UFC 201, 202, 203, but then I read that somewhere if he's going to fight, he's going to defend his featherweight title no matter what. We're not going to give him Nate Diaz anymore. So now he's a play by the UFC rules, from what I heard. And then Conor McGregor did a post on Instagram, fight clips between him and Nate Diaz, and said nobody cares about the UFC 200. This is where the real money's at, and stuff like that. So what is going on? How do you see this ending, Guillermo? Is it going to end anytime soon, or what is the latest? Just your thoughts and this whole thing. It's a day by day thing now. So
if we're talking about the title's a mess. The featherweight title, because the whole
as of right now, it's 200. It's still for the interim
belt.
As of right now, right?
And
I haven't heard anything different. So.
And if you're gonna have Conor McGregor fight for that belt, I mean, and let's say these guys come out healthy, not too injured out of this fight, you're talking about what, like UFC 203, 204, 205 maybe?
Yeah.
All the way to New York? You're going to leave Conor McGregor out that long? I mean, it really seems like punishment, to be honest.
To quote, he said, cut the BS, run it back, meaning him and Nate Diaz. Is that, or is this maybe a grand plan, Guillermo, to like hype Conor McGregor so much to have him sell at Madison Square Garden? Is that what this is for? Is this maybe, conspiracy, Dana White and Fertitta Brothers?
It could be.
If that happens, we broke it here first on FiveRoundMMA. The conspiracy to have Conor McGregor at MSG debut for UFC, 205, something like that?
Something like that. But he's already said, Conor McGregor, that he wants to be on that card as well. And the other rumor is Ronda Rousey as well.
Yeah, well, that's going to happen for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, so basically, if the more he goes out there and insults the UFC and Dana White says, well, I'm not mad at him. He can fight whenever he wants. But then, then we'll take away his power. Then we'll take away his belt. So who is really in charge here? Who's really who's the alpha in this?
Conor's close to being a revolution to the or for the fighters in the UFC.
Yeah,
because he's creating a market for himself, and he's coming out with facts. He's coming out with figures. He says, "I made the UFC $400 million. Yet I only got paid $1 million for my fight." So and
you got paid more than that,
or but estimated. So then
way more than that. Trust me. you forget pay-per-view buying.
It's just funny though, because he's saying all this stuff, but Dana White doesn't seem mad, because we've seen Dana White mad
because
at fighters.
he's under contract. He's under contract.
But we've seen how cold and how mad Dana White can be to other fighters he doesn't like.
I think Alex started going the right route. I think the wheels started turning here. As soon as DC announced that he wasn't going to be able to compete against Jon Jones, I'm pretty sure that's when the wheels started turning about Madison Square Garden. That's when Dana White's saying, look, behind closed door, guess what, Conor? We're going to move you to the New York card. Go ahead, throw your fit. Do what you want on social media, but we'll get you on that Madison Square Garden. I'll double your income. Don't worry. Don't trip. That's where he wants you. And the wheels just started turning. Now, all he needed was a Jon Jones win. And then as soon as Jon Jones win and they made that announcement, then it was full open floods. Go at it. You know?
But my question is, what's more important to the UFC? UFC 200 or UFC at Madison Square Garden?
Madison Square Garden, apparently.
No, it's gonna be the first ever New York MMA fight, and Dana White wants to start off with the big bang, and I really think that's what it is, because I think people forget how good of a relationship not only does Conor McGregor have with Dana White, but with the Fertitta brothers.
Yeah.
Come on now. Let's keep it real. There's more going on behind closed doors than we'll make it seem. There's a reason why he picks like Facebook and when to tweet them and stuff like that. Come on. Let's keep it real.
It's kind of weird. Like one post is on Facebook, the next post is on Twitter, the other one's on Instagram. So
funny, you guys moving all over that social media.
Yeah, his next one's gonna be a Vine, then he'll probably do a Periscope or something and what. So
well, the other thing is you start
conspiracy, dog. It's all collusion, bro.
He'll snap
it's a collusion.
But sometimes what happens is you start opening certain doors that are Pandora's box type of thing. And what to me is what was eye opening is like these organizations worldwide were willing to offer Conor McGregor 2, 3,
what
5.
if you just get the right deal? Like, oh man, this is a pretty good deal.
Yeah,
I'll leave the UFC for this.
Yeah, and so that's what was eye opening to me is that he's creating leverage for the fighters and to this organization, because he wasn't even going to main event that Polish
organization. He was offered like a little money.
Oh no, the Russian organization. He was offered a lot of money, and he wasn't even a main event. It was still going to be Fedor. So to me, that he's opened Pandora's box.
Yeah.
I agree, but it's a collusion.
Well, and then we'll see next week what Conor McGregor has in store for all of us in the UFC.
There's collusion going on.
It's another week, so it's going to be a lot more stuff.
The only collusion going on is Alex and Albert colluding against me.
Maybe.
now part for the wrestling segment. W Payback is taking place tonight this Sunday. We got to go.
Finn Balor, please.
Bullet Club. Until then, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FiveRoundMMA. It's FIVE. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Podomatic. And please visit FiveRoundMMA.com. You can also check out this podcast at FightBookMMA.com under the podcast page. That's FightBookMMA.com. A big thank you to all of our sponsors. First with Rocking Green eco-friendly cleaner products, 5 Rounds clothing line, and of course the Redemption Martial Arts Rise Up Against Bullying and the RMA Foundation. Albert, what do you got?
Just want to thank everybody for listening, and please, Finn Balor, I need you.
God, that's so creepy.
I need you, Finn.
And just a shout out to Five Book MMA. They tweeted us out a meme of the next 3 pay-per-views. It was actually pretty funny, and so we shared it on Twitter. Make sure to check it out. It's pretty hilarious. It has Uriah Faber as a female, Chris Cyborg as Wanderlei Silva, and then Verdum as Goofy.
By the way, Uriah Faber as Liz Camouche.
But oh yeah, the cream of the crop.
You are now listening to Afro Mighty Radio.